Have you been?
Mic check testing, fresh trim every time I step in. I'm the next best thing, like a big bum with a leg spin. I'll take her with a brethren, I want more bread than a bread bin. Gone for the strike like 10 pin, active online, I'm trending. They'll call, keep my time like vending. But it's no joke, like a fade that won't blend in. It's money, this party ain't ending. Weekend bending, overdraft pending. I'll be all over that painting. And you know that's ending, I'm a lion. Tryna be a king like Simba, ain't on Tinder. Won't catch me with a minger. Clean diet, weekend binger. Still got abs in the winter, still a KFC for a zinger. Never been one to linger. If she got a mate, then bring her. Positive thinker, ain't got time for a whinger. If she's called Linda, then she's most likely a swinger. Been a rascal since kinder. Might see my face on Insta. Now I got things in York and Windsor. Still rap York like Minster. These guys been a big time.
How's Big Bakewell as a client?
I absolutely adore him, to be honest. He's lovely. Yeah, he's always like makes us feel part of the team.
Yeah.
Since we started, to be honest, out of all of the leagues, we've only done it since November. I think we've had like 5 shows, but it really is like we are in the family. Like they're so look after us, and they're fun as well. They're really like down to earth, just fine. You can have a chat and a giggle after in the hotel and stuff, and it's not like the client's there. It's like Andrew's there. Woo.
We were saying down there, you mentioned the American ring girls and the British. Are they trying to level them up together? What's the crack there?
No, I think just when I touched on the American girls, they obviously American always do everything like bigger and better anyway. BKFC over there is like obviously enormous already. They've been going for a while, so the girls over there, I think they have their sort of own little like fame in their own right off the show. So yeah, I just think like that's how. Even with the fighters and stuff, like there's certain fighters that they're sort of like the face of BKFC, like you've got Perry, stuff like that. I think the UK is just going to follow suit. And I think like all promotions, I think that's what they're trying to do, what they try and do and stuff.
Did you work at the Mike Perry and MVP
yeah,
fight?
That was the best night of my life. No,
Really?
no, but it was so good, so much fun. I love Mike Perry. I think he's great. I'm like,
He's a funny guy.
oh, he's so funny. Like I'm like his #1 fan. But like, I like fights. I love watching the fights. But then if they've got like a story, not a story, but you know, like they're a character in themselves, you can watch them outside of it. It's like Conor with the UFC. Like I'm sure there's other great fighters that are like him, but he's got that whole like, here I am. And
He's the man.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Mike's gonna sort of do the same there. But that was fun because then they had, who did he have? MVP. That it was brilliant to watch him. So obviously he's a sick fighter, and they had quite a few good faces, and as well they used, because that was their first show, they sort of used the whole American team, bought the whole production, so it was like whoa, it looks pretty.
It was a good shout by having them on the first card. Did you get to like mingle in with the fighters?
Yeah, they were all just sort of, they always are. That's what I mean with BKC, they're just like chilling, happy, you know.
After party or not?
I try and avoid the after parties.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd be straight there, me.
Yeah, no, it depends. But BKFC, yeah, I probably would. We'll hang out in the. The thing is we always go after party. Yeah, it gets to like 12. You know, like it might have kicked off. So something might have happened, and we're like, should we just go home?
What time were you up till after Leeds?
Must have been. I think I left yours at about 5 or half 5.
Yeah.
I was in. What was it?
do.
Was the last one Leeds?
Yeah.
I'm so awful. So I was in the hotel. I think I went downstairs at 3 a.m. thinking I was going to be really quiet, like in a tracksuit, looked like a right grim. Everyone, everywhere. Like Andrew was outside getting a pizza, and then I ended up staying down there till like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was wild.
They put you in a bit of a weird spot though, weren't you, at Village South Leeds? A little bit out at town?
I don't know Leeds, so I don't know if that's... Yeah, we was out of town though. One of the girls is local, so she was like, we are absolute missions
Yeah,
away.
it's a far...
But then the hotel was all right. We had like a spa and gym and stuff, so I was like, let's be sensible, go to bed early and do the spa the next day.
You've had some good experiences in Village South, haven't you?
Yeah, a few bad ones, but anyway, we'll move on from that.
No way, because honestly, and I don't want to be... I can't stand them. They've got proper issues. The
What, the
hotel
staff?
itself, yeah, lovely. The staff have just got like real issues. And
That's just Yorkshire women.
also, as well, is this a thing, or am I just like being like too pansy? But I got there and I said, "Oh, can I have my bed changed?" So I'd been there a day. We were there for 3 days. So can I have the bedding changed? He said, "How long have you been there?" I said, "Oh, just since last night." We only change bedding if you're staying for a week.
They don't turn it round for a week.
Wow.
We are a bit scruffy up north though.
I was like, I didn't want to say anything, but I was like, "Oh, it's scruffy."
I only do mine every month.
Do you? Yeah.
joking.
Well, then the girls were like, "How often do you change your bed?" And I said, "Every day." I was like,
No one does it. No one does it every day. But tell the truth. How often do you do it? Come on.
Go on, Skanky. You know, Minga.
Bro, it's probably like
What, over a month.
over a month, mate.
Over a
me.
month.
I'm just a fucking...
Just a
It's
jizz
just
mess.
me. It's just, it's just me there. And and I have a shower before bed, so I just think it can't be that dirty. Doesn't smell. Maybe in summer every 3 weeks. Maybe.
Boys are a bit
If
grim.
it's
I've got a
looking.
missus, so like it's
I was
just
going to
it's
say
looked after now with that
and
domain.
also, would she not say if you hadn't changed it? Surely she'd be like, this is a
Yeah,
bit, because I think that's a bit of a man thing,
Yeah, men don't. Men
like towels and things. Do you wash your towels?
I've got better, but I used to be really bad. I think that is a bit of it's a hygiene
My old
problem.
rule would just wash your towels when they start smelling.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to dive too much into your backstory, but in terms of we're quite affiliated with BKFC. We've tried to get a lot of the fighters on whatnot. Have you got a passion for martial arts and fighting, or just sort of gravitated into that as a client?
Yeah, no. So I try and think about. So I said I've got the worst memory. I'm trying to think first, like what came first, the ring girls or the like love for sports. But I've always been on the pads and like been quite active in the gym and stuff like that. I think definitely when I started doing the events and seeing sort of like because obviously I was watching the fighters up close and stuff, then it sort of heightened, and I was not so much of it like, because before I was like, oh, I like fights, that's really good, but wasn't really paying attention, just liked being there. But as it's gone on, I just took more interest to it, just really like it. And then as well, like I used to train, like I said, do pads and stuff, but not like I wasn't doing anything. But when you start doing things properly, you realise that, oh no, I wasn't doing anything properly. Like that wasn't hard work. I was just like, and you look at old videos and stuff like, what was that all about? Like, but yeah, I think it's definitely grows. And I think as more sort of like more they give us like access and things, and we get to see more and stuff, you become more involved. Like it's hard not to.
Do females feel the same adrenaline when you're at those live events? Obviously, when I go to those events, it's especially when you've got close friends fighting, the adrenaline when you watch that, it's intense.
No, I don't think it's a girl-boy thing. I think it's more of a like, do you like it or not?
Yeah.
Because there's some of the girls that you can tell that they really like it. But again, like with me, even the girls that are like, yeah, we love the sports, you get there and I'm like, why aren't you watching then? Why are you on your phone? Like, or I'm like, look at this one, this is going to be good. And they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, oh no. So I think it really is just, it's like the whole like boxing fans at home on the computer. People think they might be a fan, but sometimes it's sort of like, but no, I really like, especially if it's people, because I said we've been there for a while, we know like it might be a rematch, it might be, a story behind it.
You buy into all that.
Yeah, that's it. Like the presses. There was a guy on that on the Perry card. I can't remember his name. American guy, bald guy, that really big guy. But he was Connor. He was fighting Connor.
Oh,
I know you mean. You're a brawler one here, like
Someone
a big
Lindsay
American
was
brawler,
Yeah, like proper,
Tennessee
like,
brawler.
yeah, American written all over it. And he was wicked, like watching that, and then he was proper giving it some, and it was like, oh yeah, you better win.
Yeah.
Got his ass whipped. Like I like to see stuff like that, like and follow it.
Outside of Mike Perry, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who's your favourite British fighter?
I get told off because I done a poll the other day, and someone asked me, and then I was like, oh.
Who is it? You got one though. Springs to mind straight away.
But you can't as a fighter or as a person.
Let's go mixture of both.
Oh God, I need to say that. Annoying.
Thinking Conor Tierney, that's what I think you're
No,
thinking.
I don't really know him that, to be fair. But no, as a fighter, I like watching Conor's fights. He brings a great crowd as well. Always has his girlfriend there and stuff. Like I like that to see all that. Obviously, the promoters like it when you can set out a show. He's definitely got that. I don't know what it is.
Bit of an it factor.
Yeah, that little factor. So, some of them got it. He's a pretty boy,
Do you think his Instagram's funny? Do you watch it?
No.
I like his stuff on there.
Oh, I've not seen it. No, I'll have to give him a follow then, see what it's all about. But yeah, no, he's good. I like him, and I like watching his fights. He's good. But I like them all, to be honest.
Oh, that's a very safe answer, that.
It is. No,
I
because
saw that you were around Floyd Mayweather recently.
I thought you was going to list a BKFC fight. I'm not
No,
what
no.
have I done? No, I wasn't.
No. But you're with
Straight
Floyd
on the
Mayweather, weren't
defense. Yeah, so we've done a few events with him.
What's he like?
Yeah, he smells nice.
You should be when you're worth about fucking 50 bill.
Exactly. Lovely guy.
Is he a bit of a ladies' man?
I think all men like the ladies, don't they?
Or can you see that charm in him?
Yeah, he's definitely got the charm. I wouldn't say he's like a prowler. I wouldn't say he was like out there, But then again, I don't know him that well, so who knows what he's up to in his spare time. But no, he's quite respectable, nice to us. Obviously, enjoyed us being there and around him and stuff as they do. But respectable, cool. A little bit short, bless him.
A little bit short.
I'm sure he makes up for it.
Hey-o.
I actually mean his fighting, guys.
All right.
Come on.
How much pressure do you put on yourself? The job that you do, obviously, it's very how you look. Do you put a lot of pressure on yourself to look a certain way?
I think, like, as we were speaking downstairs, I think like I've grown a lot recently. So I think before, it's really like I said, I've got no nails on at the minute because I'm boxing. I couldn't come out of my house, but like I say, like a couple of years ago. I know it sounds pathetic, but that's things like that were important to me. Like I don't really wear makeup ever if I've got work or I'm on camera. Whereas before, it's like I wasn't comfortable in, and not more like, oh, I think I'm ugly, but it's just like you start to realise like what a waste of time it is waking up every day, doing a full set of nails, like things like I don't get my lashes done and stuff like that. I'm a bit of a boy. But you're like, what's the point? Like, I don't need to do that. And if it's at the cost of like, I'm just trying to impress everyone else, and that's really what it is, because it's like, I don't need to be in makeup in the gym. It's uncomfortable. Why am I doing that for the sake of everyone else? And then it's also as well, you go to the gym or you go to places and like, oh, well, she's got all her hair. Like, I don't have my extensions anymore. Oh, her hair's really long and like, oh, I need to be like that. Or you have a picture with another one of the girls and it's like, oh, I'm not as tanned as her and stuff like that. So I think growing a bit within myself, you know, I'm getting old. But you realise it's not as important. And so I think I'd say now, no, but I can understand. And there definitely is, you know, a lot of girls that would.
You try and teach that to some of the younger girls you've got?
Yeah, definitely. And I said, I'm not like old, you know, I'm sure a lot of them don't look at me and think, you know, wise words.
What is it, 43 now?
Yeah, no. And do you know what, it's really funny because someone asked me yesterday, I was like, am I 33 or 34?
I sort of lie about mine sometimes a little bit. Once I got to 32, I just started, I'm not getting any older.
Yeah, I'm like 10. But I think when you're like, I'm young at heart, so I think we're all right. Yeah. I just dread the day where I just like, I feel like one day it's just going to go downhill. I'm going to wake up like grey.
Oh, it's coming.
Overweight, like acne.
Why would you just get acne as an older person? Why would you just one day wake up?
Bad stuff. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the worst stuff. Wrinkles, maybe. Then okay.
How do you recruit these girls for the business for ring girling? Is there some sort of criteria that you look for in girls? Or?
Yeah. So in terms of like the recruitment process, we have the website. There's an apply link. It's sort of like if you would apply for any job, we'll ask you your stats, send in some photos. Have you worked in the area before? That's not, you know, like you don't have to have experience. It's just. You know,
nice to know.
Yeah, let you know what we're about. After that, sometimes we do a call. So, like I said, we have the event staff, the sort of interview process and things like that. There's a lot more. There's a lot more to it because they're doing a lot more work. There's a lot more behind it. We have to know more stuff. But with the ring girls, it's sort of like as long as you're confident, you know, happy to get in the ring. I think number one thing is confidence. So it's like, even if you haven't necessarily done ring girling, a lot of them would have done like beauty pageants and things like that. That's always like a
looks have to be a huge component to that.
Because I'm not going to sit here and lie, because I know people will be like, it doesn't matter what you look like.
It does.
Do you ever get these people applying like
big fat effers? No fat shaming.
We're having a little. No, I'm joking. I was going to say we'll have a little laugh at everyone later. No, that's a joke.
No, do you ever get someone be like, oh, come on? Like,
yeah, like we get quite a lot of applications. To be fair, I'm quite like I always feel quite blessed. Oh, like loads of people want to join, but we get at least one a day. Like we get constant, and it's with the American now as well. We like have girls out in America, just the American girls. Like we're not sending girls over, but. It's really busy, like a lot of girls. And I think I noticed when I wanted to be a ring girl and sign up to an agency, there aren't really any agencies. You don't really do it. Like anytime I'm looking, you know, we're doing any sort of like SEO work or anything, the question always is how to be a UFC ring girl. Like it's literally, everyone wants to do it. No one knows how to do it. No one knows how to get into it. So yeah, we just have the website, you apply. I might give them a call if they've not done it before. If it's your first event, I'll usually put you on an event that I know I'm going to be there. If I can't make it, one of like, you know, we've probably got like 5 girls that are like main girls, do it all the time. They can look after it, etc. But then even if it's like your first gig, like it's almost as if like as soon as you do it, you're like, oh my God, that's it. It's easy. Oh, I love it now. Oh, it's because a lot of them do get quite anxious and they will text me before and be like, is there anything else I need to know? Like, do I need to do this? And
is there ever anything embarrassing that's happened that's been like made you not want to do it again? Or even seen somebody.
I bet there's some funny things that get shouted out. Like, does anything come to mind there where you just hear something and it makes you chuckle a little bit?
Well, chuckle. This one made me cry. And it was about 4 years ago, so it's when I first started. But talking about like feeling sort of like secure and caring about what other people think. I remember getting in, like, so my thing used to be is like, I'm quite skinny. I hate the word skinny. I hate being called skinny. Really just like, I just don't like it, as I'm sure it's the same with like girls that are bigger. They don't want to be called fat, stuff like that. It's the same with us. We don't like it either. And there was a girl that got in. So it was one of my jobs. So I'd hired her, lovely girl, sweetheart, bit curvier. So like a 10, which as well, like, I love these girls. Like everyone loves them girls. The guys love them. But this night a bit too much. So it was like she got it. So I got in. I'd done my little thing, got out. Then she got in, and all the women, and it was like 40-year-olds, sort of like older women, and they were like, yeah, really like cheering that. That's a real woman. And I was like, oh, hey, like you're taking it to the extreme now. You're trying to be inclusive and being nice, but that's not very kind. You know, you're really if the girl got in and no, if I got in after the girl and they went, yeah, that's a nice slim girl, glad that, you know, chubby one's gone, it would be equally as offensive. So yeah, that was, I was here, well, it was a bit embarrassing. I didn't feel too happy about that after I had a couple of
I think that's one of
pies.
the worst things you can say to me. If like he's dieting for a photo shoot at the minute.
Yeah.
So like in clothes, you probably look like you're a little bit skinnier would be the word, and it men especially have a bit of, there's a word for it. What's the word? I'm gonna forget it. It's where you feel you look a certain way in the mirror and there's
Oh,
a,
body dysmorphia.
yes,
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I think people, because I get it all the time, and it's like, even like, I've had a boyfriend before, and he's like, can't fathom the fact that I might be insecure. That just doesn't get it. And I'm not the prettiest girl in the world either, as well. But it's like, if they just don't get it. And he's like, why would you feel like that? Why would you be? And it's almost like, oh, you're being an attention seeker. And it's like, no, I really, like sometimes, you know, I'm sure, like you said, you've got stuff that you feel like uncomfortable about. Everyone has it. Everyone feels, you know, a certain way about something about themselves.
It's kind of a compliment in disguise that he's saying, like, you've got, like, what do you mean you're insecure? But
that's it. But then it gets to the point where it's sort of like, oh, don't do this because this makes me feel like this. No, it doesn't. You're the most confident person in the world. What are you talking about? Blah, blah. And then going like back to we were talking about Instagram earlier, it's like, and even ring girling, someone assumes because I'm going to get in the ring and I'm all happy and confident and I'll talk to anyone, I'm a really social person. That means in every area of your life, you're completely confident. And whilst doing that as well, there wasn't a few moments where you might not have felt great. And to be honest, I love ring girling and I love the event. So 99%, it'd have to be like a bad day due to something else. But like, I'm happy as Larry, I absolutely love it. But I think then when you do get insecure or whatever about something, it's like, oh no, like, you know, why are you being like that? Or you're just being an attention seeker. And it's like, no, I've got feelings.
You're good at communicating and talking. Where did this skill come from?
I think just trying to get people to listen and like, thank you, appreciate that. But yeah,
Says
my
that
thing
to all
is
those
that,
guests, by the way.
No, you can. Some people have just got a default to communicating. You know what I put mine down to? Because when I was a young kid, my family was so extroverted and loud. I never used to get. I was told to shut up or just be quiet, and I always wanted to be able to speak in a room and maintain conversation. And
yeah, so my growing up, in terms of my dad's really extrovert, out loud. He's Jamaican, so typical loud.
Yeah.
My mum's so she's English, but her family's like Irish, like the softer side. Like she's very. I remember my nan was just like such a quiet, but you have anything you want, just don't make them cry, just give it to them. And my dad's sort of like, oh, if you've fallen over, like, oh, she'll get up, you know, we don't want her to be soft. So I don't know if it came from that, but I think having that both sides definitely. And again, like I said, I don't want to be like this whole like, oh, I had an epiphany and I've changed, but I wouldn't say that. I probably wasn't always great at communicating. I think it's just like experiences and
just time behind the wheel with it.
Yeah, and wanting to get like. If I want to achieve an end goal, I know that I need to communicate, and it's more helpful for me to communicate with someone and them to listen to me and us to be able to do that properly. We're going to get what we want at the end of it rather than other stuff. And I've probably been in situations where communication hasn't been great and it doesn't work. So I've sort of learned and been like, right, well, if I, you know, be as helpful as I can, be as or whatever the word is, expressive, let you know what's going on. I listen to you. And it goes wrong, then, you know, at least I've done all that I can do.
This is such a cliche question, usually because people say, I ain't got an end goal, but you just mentioned it there. Have you got an end goal?
In terms of like the business, I think definitely just keep expanding. Speaking about America, we definitely just want to, because obviously America, they do it, it's sort of like second nature, like the ring girls and stuff like that. And they have like cheerleaders and all of that. It's more of a normal thing, and obviously America's a bigger place, and who doesn't want to be in the sunshine? But I say America, but I mean just everywhere and anywhere really. Just expand, just give the girls more opportunities. Like I said, starting a YouTube, start a podcast going, get the girls on.
You'd be a good podcast host.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's just I'm so busy, and then so now I've taken up boxing again, so I'm going to fight. And it's like I'm always
gonna
trying
fight
to
as
just
well?
like, yeah. So
Who are you fighting?
When you call
Any
her Brooke out, anyone.
yeah, when you said her name downstairs, I was like, the amount every time I get in front of a camera, it's and I mentioned boxing.
Well, you're like, fuck that bitch.
They're like, I don't really like. Do you know what the issue I have with Elle? No, not with
Oh,
Elle.
let's
The
go.
issue, here's what it is. No, I don't have an issue. The issue I have about people asking me what I think about Elle is it's sort of like, I don't want to be like mean. I'm not being mean,
No, you're
but
not.
it's like, she's such a good boxer. She's like, and I think that's why people use her because it's sort of like she is the influencer female boxer. She's amazing. Yeah, she's good. She's all right. I don't think she's like.
So you think you're going to box her head
Gonna
off?
take her then.
I definitely, $1,000,000% would not lose a fight to Elle.
Oh, yes.
No disrespect to anyone.
Do you think you finish her or do you just box her?
Well, so talk to me before I started sparring. Yeah, I'm knocking everyone out. You're getting there. And I've learned it is like everyone told me a lot harder to land them punches, them combos, them knockout punches in there. And obviously she's got fights behind her as well. She's got the experience, but I'm just quite determined, and if I didn't think I would win, I wouldn't say it. I'd just be quite honest and be like, no, maybe someone else.
I'm not saying I don't back you, but I think I do. I think she's a good boxer.
I think she's, and this is the thing, I think she's good. It's not that I don't think she's good, but
You're better.
I don't think she's as good as we're all like, because there's a couple of, I've seen things like even when Tennessee, so do you know Tennessee? She
What, the
fought
girl
in
on the
Misfits
Oh,
one.
Misfits.
She done some pads.
Is it the little dark girl who's OnlyFans?
No, she's quite a sweet.
mind
You know,
me.
he knows the OnlyFans girls, isn't he?
And can you say dark like that?
Yeah.
I'm only kidding.
No, this girl, she's mixed race girl, pretty girl, quite soft, sweet. But so I think then she got on the pads and they were like, "Cool, blimey, rura." If you look at it, yeah, it's all right, but it's not like, I think if we're taking it in its own right and we're in their influencer boxers, cool, yeah, Elle's great and that's cool, but I think a lot of people right now, it's like, oh, she's basically a professional boxer. She's got.
You should organise a spar with her because we had Amber O'Donnell on here and she sparred with her twice and they had a bit of beef.
And she's just, and I've watched her fight. I watched them all fight. I do love it. She's got a nice jab, but I think it's quite easy to avoid the jab. I'm sure we can work around that. But I think other than that, and she's the most technical and looks the best. I completely agree with that. And you can tell she's putting in. So hats off to her because I do appreciate the hard work it takes to go in. And it does sort of annoy me if you're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to fight and not really work and stuff. Like, I'll just get my paycheck and go home. I don't really care. I sort of like warm to the fighters that do really care. And you care. You can tell she's got a real passion for it. So, and I don't think she's not good at all. I'm just saying, like, I don't think anyone needs to be sort of like, I'm so scared. Because who did she last fight on Kingpin? Danielka?
That tall lady.
That, I thought she was going to absolutely wipe the floor with her. And I know she had the height as well. But she should have, and I know she said at the end, it wasn't my best performance, etc. And so fair enough, she's not, she can identify.
I think you're
that.
correct there. I say this to you in this influencer space. A lot of these people have got a lot of money, so they're able to fully immerse themselves in the in the training camp. They've got the best coaches, best nutrition, and they're solely focused on that, so they can compound a lot of time in getting to a standard.
Yeah.
But how good are they when they're going against, like, you were a big fan of Jake Paul.
Still am.
Okay.
Still is. So when he fought Tommy Fury and Tommy beat him, he were crying for a few days. So it's just a bit. You sort
But
of
you're there
see.
for him though.
And, oh, there for him.
Yeah,
but you
that's all that
see that there's, and I'm not. I think Jake Paul's a very good fighter.
No, but I'm the
But
same.
you see,
exactly
you see that when there becomes someone who's done it all their life.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't compete with that.
That's it. That's exactly it. But then again, it's like, well, Elle is an influencer boxer. She's not going to be fighting professional. She's not trying to claim she's professional. So in her own right, it's not even her that's running around going, I'm this and it's more of like opinions I hear from other people. Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm going to fight Elle. Oh, you don't want it. It's like, well, you've never seen me box. You've never seen me spar. Why are you so confident that just from what you've seen from her? And also as well, although she won that fight with Danielka, I really just expected her to do more. And I don't know where, Danielka's history and stuff like that. I haven't really seen a lot from her, so I don't know how hard she was training, what her background is.
So if you're going to compete there, on what platform would you want to do it?
In terms of like what promotion?
Yeah.
I'm working with people at the minute, like we're in like sort of like I have where I want to go, but really, to be honest, at this point, like I've been training now and I'm sort of like ready. If you said, we've got a fight for you this day, I can be ready. Put my, I train now, but I'm obviously not training for a fight. I'm not in a fight camp, etc. It doesn't really matter. I don't care what promotion it is. I don't really care who it is. I just want to fight. I don't think there's anyone. I can't sit here and give it all the I work hard, I train hard, and then be like, oh, but I'm not fighting that person. Like,
But it would be in the influencer space.
oh yeah, 100%, yeah. Because as I said, I've always wanted to box. I've always liked fighting. I like kickboxing and stuff like that as well, MMA. But I'm never taking an elbow kick. None of that. It's the bare knuckle as well. Same. That hats off to all these guys because it's just not for me. I feel like with boxing, you can do the influencer stuff. When it comes to MMA, bare knuckle, K1, you can't casually do it. It's like you need to prepare yourself for that stuff. But yeah, so I've got a question.
So ideally, what you're trying to state there is that you're ready and you're looking for a fight.
Yeah, and I'm training at a gym. I've got a good gym.
Where's that?
So Shoot Fighters, London Shoot Fighters.
Is that don't
MVPs.
KSI train out of that?
Yeah, so JJ's there.
You trained with him before?
No.
Also, JJ, when you know him, is that when is that his
No, I don't even know him.
Let's go.
That's what they say. That's just when he's in it.
Well, it's
so-
called
Okay.
JJ.
Yeah.
I thought that was just his name.
I thought it was called KSI. Something like that.
Ew, sorry.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're buddies. No.
Do you see him a fair bit down there?
Every day we go out for walks.
Oh, here we go.
What, you and KSI do?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
I know. No.
Wait, what the fuck?
She's
My
a-
head's
barely know
baffled.
him.
She's a good liar.
No, I'm not. I
No.
never tell lies.
No.
No, I see him in passing sometimes in the gym.
Does he take it serious?
Yeah, 100%, $1,000,000%. And I train with his coach and his team. Anyone who's in that gym is taking it serious, $1,000,000%.
Training, are they teaching elbows and stuff
I
to
know.
boxers?
That's the first thing when I went there. We had 2 weeks
Just,
just elbows.
show me KSI's
yeah,
elbow.
It was just like
Just sling it in.
Yeah, it's like 1, 2, elbow, left elbow every time. We just have to.
That was planned, wasn't it? That was intentional, what KSI did. What do you think?
Is that what you think?
Yeah, it's got to be.
What's your opinion?
I don't know enough about it. What did Jake Paul say? Though I listened to Jake Paul's stance on
I
it.
did listen to Jake.
He's sparred and fought at that level, and he's never hit anyone with an elbow.
No,
This
I've
is
never
the
known
thing,
a boxer
like,
hit anybody with an elbow really
my
like that.
thing,
unless it's
right?
intentional.
And obviously, I know whether it's intentional or not. Like, I know I train in the gym, like I know what the crack was, but it doesn't make sense if you think about it. Why would someone throw an elbow? Because it's not like there's any way for him to get away. Like, you're going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he could throw that elbow and win the fight. And
Yeah, but they knew he'd done it because they rushed through everything, didn't they? Just sort of tried to get him out of there quick out there. I think that's how I perceived
yeah,
it.
100%. But to be fair, I think in the moment, it was only when they slowed it down on the thing. KSI might have known.
JJ, yeah.
KSI might have known, but I don't think they really would have seen. Like, you can even see how quick it is. Like,
Yeah.
in the moment,
And
they
he's
didn't
so
know.
maybe unorthodox and raw. Maybe he's just chucked it, and it's just
Like-
you don't think he's not
Yeah,
buying
no,
it.
100%. Because like, what benefit does he have? You can't win by an elbow. Like, it's not going to be like, oh yeah, he won. He's the better boxer.
He might not have expected it to end the fight, though. He might have just thought, I might cut him here.
No, I just
Lose a
think
point.
I just think it doesn't make sense. You don't train that hard. You don't do all
Yeah,
of
I
that.
agree
Like,
with that.
if anything, it ruined his night. It ruined the team's night. It ruined for the promotion. It's all anyone spoke about. It's all they're still talking about. Joe's gonna cry and say that's the reason he lost. Blah blah blah. Which is fair enough. Like, maybe have a rematch or whatnot. But I don't think anyone's really interested in it.
No.
But I can get why it's frustrating. But it was more frustrating for KSI and his coaches and everything than anyone else, because he just wanted to win. He didn't want to win by elbow. I think it was, like you say, it doesn't happen a lot. And Jake might have said in his professional career or whatever he's doing, he has never accidentally thrown an elbow. And if I speak to boxers and fighters, they'll say the same thing. But it's like, I've done things that's not, one in however many things happen. Is like, I just don't. Logically, I just don't. Why would you do it? It doesn't.
You think it was just an accident?
Yeah, I think it was an accident. I think maybe, it's the KSI didn't do anything wrong. Like, we make mistakes. That's what's happened. It's for the sort of refs, the judges, everyone else, the aftermath. They're the ones that should have been dealing with that and dealt with that. And I don't think it was dealt with.
No. Well, the announced KSI is the winner within 30 seconds. And you win a KSI, like trying to get it out.
Yeah.
I think Carla's been paid off to say
Paid
this.
off?
Yeah.
I think Carla
They've
has to say
given me
this. Yeah.
crates of prime. No, and the thing is, it's like, I don't care. Like I said, like, I don't know him personally, but I just know how upset and disappointed everyone was afterwards. I honestly know, because it's all anyone. And I'd be so upset if I knew, like, I was going to knock you out anyway, love. stop pretending that there was some L, but I'd be livid. I'd be so disappointed. And then being like, right, well, now to prove myself, I've got to do a rematch that I don't want. He doesn't want. Nobody wants. The money's not worth in compared, you know, he can be
Tommy
fighting Tommy.
Fury,
Exactly.
Jake Paul, they're
What
next.
it's if anything, it's just irritating and annoying. And
To be honest as well, Joe were pretty much out anyway. When
that's
he'd already
the thing.
been
He
caught
was
with a
winning the
shot.
rounds. Like, I get, if it was the other way around,
I'll
you
give
could
him
sort
that.
of get it.
I'll give him
Yeah.
that.
And it's like I'm not a fan of Joe, but
He's just a fucking ex
I don't know
wannabe.
why. I
He's
don't know why I
out-
don't like him. It's just annoying.
Yeah, he's just out partying in Dubai. I think he's just been recruited. Probably
Yeah.
pissed off. Do you want to fight? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, come on, let's have it. Like, yeah.
Do you think Andrew Tate will ever enter that space?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Nah, surely not.
So, what space though?
The influencer
Oh yeah,
boxing?
100%. Yeah.
Really?
So who's gonna?
Well, it's smart business. He's going to get a big bag for it. His audience who are buying the university or whatever it's called, his online platform, are all that age, 16 to sort of 25. Like, it's a perfect storm for him to keep
Yeah.
keep his notoriety there. And
And he's he likes doing it anyway. It's what he does. So he was
Yeah.
going to fight Mayweather before he went for that whole Romania shebang happened, and he went away. So
surely there's a two bigger size advantage there, no?
Mayweather would fucking light him up. Anyway.
yeah, but that's what Mayweather does. Mayweather's there to
Did
be.
you
He's
see-
not going to take a fight.
Did you see
that
the
he's not.
brawl after the?
Yeah, I loved that. That
Wow.
was fun to watch.
That was intense. That was a big one.
But I'm with you because as well, like how you're saying, like I don't know any inside information of that. So for me, I'm just like, what was that about? Was that real or so? I get when you guys are like, oh, what happened? Was that fit? I'm like, take that stance on that one because it's like, it's when things happen and you're like, how has that happened on such a high professional level? Why are they calling out disqualifications and doing stuff? How are they not watching it? But how do they not know what's going on? Why is there confusion in these massive fights with this massive budget? Because but I do enjoy it. I like a little brawl at the end. That was fun.
Seems stopping a lot of these events, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You mentioned there what shoot fight you called it then.
Yeah.
Is that located near where you're based and living?
No, so it's about an hour and 20. So there's two gyms, but they're like, well, I think it's free, but they're within like half an hour of each other, like Wembley area. So yeah, it's about an hour and 20 minutes. So drive there, drive all the way there, train for an hour, drive back, come back in the evenings, like 2 days a week to do the sparring, drive all the way back. So like I said, like it's like takes such a big
Big commitment.
big commitment. And that's why, because I've always wanted to fight, and I've said it before, I was going to fight on another promotion like a couple of years ago, like this influencer thing, and then they fell through, and then it was like, oh, well, I've taken this time out of work and out of the business now, I'm just going to go back to work. And this time round it was more like you know, like everything happens for a reason. Things sort of like came my way rather than me sort of like outsourcing it. And then work, I just had some time with, you know, I set aside some time to do some bits, and I was like, you know, yeah, maybe let's fight now then. And I think now, like this time round, going into it, like I can tell my mentality and whatnot must be different because the amount I'm learning now, like maybe it's shout out to shoot fighters, maybe it's the gym, but I've progressed like so much now in this short space of time, whereas before. And I think now it's like as well, the whole influencer boxing scene's here. It's great. We can get money. It's more sort of like, okay, I'm going to do it now. You know, it's sort of like more attainable.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and it's not like, oh, I'm just doing it for fun and I've got to waste. Because it is a genuine passion, although like, yeah, everyone wants to earn money and yeah, that's
You also,
great.
when you think about the first night you're competing, do you also want to see if you are really about it? Is that a big part of it for a fighter?
Yeah, I think that was for sparring. I think that's when, because I was like, I want to spar. And I was like, just moaning, like, get me in sparring. And they were like, you're going to spar and you're going to cry and you're going to go home. That's sports. And it's not just the gym. Like, people were like, and not even that. It was like, oh, yeah, you want to be a boxer. Wait till you start sparring. So I was really excited for that. Like, and I was quite prepared for maybe I am going to cry and go home because I'm not a street fighter. I don't fight people. I don't, you know, I'm never going to know until I get in there and start sparring. So then I had to get my cardio up because it's like you think you're going to be a boxer and you're like, oh, well, actually there's more to it than just that. And it was weeks of we got to get your cardio. I don't know if you know them first climber machines.
I like the look of those. Are they a good workout though?
Yeah. If you want to die.
Never used them, but I've seen them.
Like I love it now because now I'm not good at it, but now it's like
You do a lot of the ski erg stuff as well.
No, not much of that stuff.
Just makes you go on the Versa.
Yeah, they don't love a 3-2 at the end, and I always forget that I've got to do it, and I'm like, all right, we're just going there like, and now, and I'm like, I'm not gonna hit you. Like I hate it, but I hated running before. But I think it's not that I don't hate it; it's like I'm not good at it. So if I'm not good at it, I'm gonna moan. But I really like running now. But it's like, no, you're just better at running. It doesn't kill you, and you're not on the floor. So yeah, so then when I done the sparring, then I was like, oh, okay. You know, it's not, I'm not saying I went in there and whipped everyone's asses,
You
but
felt comfortable.
yeah, I could go the round. Like, I don't mind being punched in the face as well, because the girl that I spar with, I don't supposed to spar with the same people, but she's a fighter. She fights. I can tell at any given point, if she wants to, she can kick the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So I take my punches, and she gives it me some. And there's one time, I'll be honest, a couple of weeks ago, and she hit me. I think she double jabbed me, but in the nose, then in the mouth, and hard. And you know when you're just like, what? And I've been hit, but that was right, you're either going to stop now and get out of the ring or find something. I think that was the moment when I was like, oh, right. No. It more gave me confidence, because I'm like, for me, the hitting me is not really the problem. Like, you can hit me if you want. Like, I don't really. If anything, it like spurs me on. I'm like, right, come on, let's go. So then I was like, yeah, brilliant, great, because I know my cardio is good. You know, I've got the height. You can keep hitting me if you want. More chances are you're going to get tired before I'm going to get tired. So that's great. My main worry was like, I'm not going to be able to do these rounds. So, and I've done like, not with the same girl, because obviously she's hardcore, but I've done like 11 rounds before. I can get through 11 rounds, like, and just feel, obviously I'm not getting like beating the shit out of in these rounds, but I can feel confident and comfortable after. And yeah, and then I have to remember as well, not try to get too confident, but I'm not fighting professional fighters on the night. They're no disrespect, but they're influencer boxers. They're not. They're just.
When you call out Amber O'Donnell,
who's that? I don't.
that's
Amber's a girl we had on here. She fought Emily Brooke on Kingpin's last show. Don't know if you
Oh, I
watched
think
it.
so. Emily is Elle's sister.
Yeah, she fought her. She got beat on decision.
Oh, is that the one? She was in like bright orange underwear in the weigh-in, and
Yeah.
they had the sharp. I
Yeah,
always
yeah,
remember
yeah,
the good
yeah.
things, don't I?
Well, she told us on a second, because she did 2 podcasts. One of them was before the fight. One of them was after. And we was like, is it a bit scripted? And she was like, yeah.
it's all
The
staged.
push and the fucking...
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
You see,
That surprised me a little bit.
well, when I sort of like entered the whole, because I've done like TV bits, and it's not TV, but we work on productions and things like that. I quickly realised, oh right, this is all just and it's annoying when it gets to the boxing and sports, but it's the same in everything, football, everything.
Sells, done it.
Yeah, and it's one part of me is like, I hate this crap, but another part is like, oh, you've got. Like, I used to hate Journeyman, and I never understood it. And I remember when I first found out, like there was a fight going on, and we know the outcome. I was livid, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. This is basically like WWE. Like, I'm gonna be a part of this. But then it's like, well, you know, the fighter's trained. His guy's pulled out this morning. He's got fans here. He's trained his arse off. He'd rather fight.
What does the journeyman actually mean at the diving?
No, they're not diving. Some journeymen do win, but chances are
Slim to
the
none.
journeyman's
Yeah.
fighting someone way better than him.
Yeah.
So a lot of to be fair, journeymen can just go in and like they're just there to sort of like maybe boost a record or whatnot. But yeah, some of them, they know for a fact they've got a phrase. And obviously it's not an entertaining fight and you don't want to do it. So I used to look at it and be like, why are you doing this? Why are you... But there is a point to it, and I do sort of get that.
The fighter's trained all that time. He wants to compete on the night.
Yeah, his friends are there. He sold his tickets. You know, it's I'd be upset. You know, if. But then at the same time, I don't know if I could go into a fight knowing that I was going to win, and I just feel like a bit like. But then in the terms of professional boxing, I think it's a bit different when you've got sort of fights to get in, and you're on your way somewhere, and you just want to get cracking.
Moving on from boxing a little bit, apart from obviously training, wanting to fight, being involved in ring grilling, is there anything else that you enjoy doing?
Eating. I like foods a lot.
We can't talk about food right now.
No.
I'm on day 4, no carbs. It's not good.
Oh, none at all.
No.
What are you eating?
Just protein and veg and salad and
I
dust.
just look at pictures
Just
of
grass.
Literally, that's it. That's me.
Yeah, I'm quite boring. I don't know if boring or just occupied. Like work, I love work so much. Everything I do like for fun is usually like work. And then obviously I'm just in the gym and then I'm tired. So that really...
What's happening on the boy front? Someone who's so committed. Is there time for a fella in the mix?
There's time for the right fella in the mix, for sure. I think that because on one hand, me, I'll be like, I need the right guy. He's got to be like this, and this. But at the same time, I'm quite I don't want to say difficult, but like unique. Like I know I'm not like the generic, like easygoing or whatnot. I don't know what to call it, but you know what I mean. I know I have a lot of criteria too. So it's like it's like you said, like, is there any room? When there'll be room, there'll be room. When I find the right person and everything's all great. But at the minute, it's just like I want someone to add, as I'm sure he wants me to add to him, rather than take it away. Like if you're not, it has to be as well someone that's really interested. Yeah, I've had boyfriends before. when I started the business, I was in like a committed relationship, a long-term relationship. And he just really wasn't for it, didn't understand it. I worked in a school before, so he was like, what is this random new career path? You're always out. In his defense, I was cancelling weekends all the time, but I'm like, I'm trying to start a business here, look at the bigger picture. Just really couldn't see it. No discredit to him because he's a great lad. He was lovely, but some people are business minded and passionate, and some people just aren't. He had like a manual job as well. He's working all day long. He just wants to go to bed at 9 o'clock. And I'm like, I want to design uniforms in the room. Where should I put the crown? And he's like, fuck off. Just turning the light. He used to come in and just turn the light
So finding
off.
a piece of that puzzle, there's a big list of requirements then.
But to be fair, I say that. All I really need you to do is just be nice to me. I don't want to sound like a loser, but I just need love and just be nice. And because I think you don't have to, if you're genuinely a nice person and you're in love with someone, you don't really have to do a lot. It's like just natural things. But like, I just really need someone to indulge in me. I'm that type of like.
Just looking for a simp.
That's
No,
what
not
that is, isn't
really,
it? It's a bit of a
because I
sim.
say that, but then get a simp away from me. Like if you be, this is what I mean. It's so hard.
This is the thing with girls. No, I want someone who's loving
trying-
it.
we're
Actually,
trying-
get away, you
Yeah,
weirdo.
but it's like no simp's gonna stop a guy from nicking my handbag and knock him out, and I want you to do that too. So it's like, but I don't think. I don't know. I don't think, is that being a simp, loving someone? That's a bit.
So you want someone who's a simp, can fight.
No, I don't want a simp. You're not
all right.
listening.
All right, so.
I don't want a simp. I want someone with a heart and feelings.
Okay.
So just
When you say indulge, what does that mean?
I don't know, like just really be. I'm there, everything, and I want to be like on my phone, and I turn around, and he's just like,
You
So
but,
pretty.
Yeah, but that to
Love
me,
you.
that to me, jokes aside, is a simp though, because a man who's got his shit together will be focused on the mission at hand.
no, 100%. And for me, that's attractive. And a man who hasn't got their shit together and focused on the mission at hand isn't attractive to me. So, like I'm saying, it's really hard for me to like find it. And I think that's the struggle that's been there this past 6 months. That's what I'm struggling with. But it is there, and I think you are like the epitome of my. You're like the perfect argument for me. You can still be a hard man and and be nice to me and be loving and like.
You don't have to be a prick.
Yeah, you don't. That is exactly. You don't have to be a dickhead. Texting me you love me every day, or telling me you love me, or just like, you can be busy and be like, oh, I'm in a different country this weekend. Oh, I'm not about this weekend. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And still make me feel like you care about me.
Yeah.
And without being a simp, And it's like, if you're not going to come to work with me, or I'm not going to come to work with you, we're never going to see each other anyway. Like things like that. Like there's so many like requirements and different stuff. But then at the same time, it's like, I know if I had a guy that was like crawling out of my ass, I want to be at your work. It would like make me feel a bit sick. But the right type of person,
Make me feel sick, it's funny.
I would love it. And I'm like, so long as you're that guy, I want to be around you 24/7, because I'm like I said, I'm needy, like the neediest person in the world. Like if I like you, or if I like anything, like with the boxing, with my business, I'm 100% in it. Like, so I expect you to be like that.
Would you be able to work with someone who's both on the same path, or do you need it to be like, get on side with me?
What do you mean? I don't get it.
So, like my miss is a bit more relaxed, almost more not a housewife. I would explain this. Just more of a
Oh no,
a simpler way of living.
Yeah, do you know? And I think like where
I go out and
attract,
graft. I go out and push. She protects the home. It's peaceful there. When I go back, it's well.
Yeah, and I think if that was my life, I would have settled down and found a partner right now, because I think that is always the issue a guy will have on my front. Like, you want me to be this,
Yeah.
or can you just be that then? And that's fair enough, because like that's why I say it's like tricky for me, because I'm not the like generic like type of girl where it's like, yeah, I want to be looked after. And sometimes I do want to cook you dinner, and you can come home and be like, my dinner better be on the table. But it's like, well, you better have loved me all week and been nice to me. Then. Like, that's all I'm asking.
Being reciprocal then. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, like, and I'll be like, because I'm like, I know people probably think I'm quite hard faced and not like, or whatnot, but I'll come to your work. Like my ex, I used to bring him cakes like on site, like, and in the end he was like, stop
trying to
bringing me
find
this.
him up so nobody
Cakes
looks at
A
him.
lot of girls
Weird.
do that. I had a
What, try
fucking
and fatten guys up?
yeah.
No,
I was in
definitely wasn't
shape,
trying to
and then
fatten them
a
up.
year in, I was like a fucking mess.
No,
with
he
Uber Eats and
wasn't like
shit.
super ripped or anything anyway.
All
So
right.
he was just
So just kept him that way.
no.
We joke about this, but the boys will probably take some while you watch it. Like, how is there any tricks or tips for people, lads out there, to approach girls? Is there the right way, the wrong way? What do you feel's good? Is sliding into the DMs? That's a
Yeah, it it's, to be fair, because I would be like, no, but I think everything's how you do it. Like everything's like, I think everyone should take like this situation uniquely and judge it like on situation each time, because you know, I might say like, oh, you can't meet someone online, but that's not. It's like saying you can't meet someone in a club. Like I'm sure people have met each other in clubs and been like, happy ever after or whatnot. I think just like do it right. Like obviously we get weird messages from people that are just weird.
Do you ever get sent just dick pics? That's all
the time.
What, straight away first thing.
Yeah, just like Instagram has blurred your image to protect your eyes from fucking burning and falling out. And it's just, I'm sorry, but when is a willy ever sexy? Like,
I wonder if they're just
I don't know,
mass sending the
girls,
willy out to get a bite.
From a guy's point of view, sorry to lower the tone, do you want to see a picture of a vagina just on its own?
Let's have some context here. So if it was the first conversation, a message, I'd be a bit shocked. Yeah, that's
But
never
also
happened.
just in its own right,
Or just a min shot.
like, even if your girlfriend like sent you a picture of her minge, sorry girlfriend.
I've never received one now.
But
I've
how
never
would you feel?
received a-
It's
This
just, not
is
just a minge,
God's
it's just weird.
God's
It's like-
honest truth with Amy. This is God's honest
with
truth.
Amy?
Never. In the past, I have,
right,
yeah.
okay.
But she's never sent me any.
Is it not,
We
Is
don't-
it not photogenic though?
It's good. we don't text during the
And I
day.
think it's a bit different as well, because when you're in a relationship, he can have the real thing at home. Like, what does
Yeah,
he really
but I
do?
don't. I'm not a big
Yeah.
texter just in general. I'll wait till I go home to
To dive in.
dive in. Yeah, well, I don't know.
So
just-
so you do you live together or not? Your
Yeah.
girlfriend. So it's a bit different then. Do you live with your girlfriend?
No.
Do you text her every day and say I love
Fucking
you?
yeah.
Or tell her?
He says love
Yeah,
you
pretty
50
much,
times a day, a million percent.
Exactly.
No,
Like,
definitely not.
no. Yes, or bloody no.
No, she'll get one every day. Especially
He's
if
probably one of those that send dick pics as well to her every day.
too right.
No, but with your boyfriend,
I
it's
should be
different.
charging
It's different. But for me as well, even if my boyfriend, I'm like, there's more things that are going to turn me on than a picture of your willy.
Yeah.
Like, you can do a lot more to get me in the mood than just send me a picture of your cock. And then so when it's a random stranger as well, it's just it's intrusive, and it's like I don't even want to see it anyway.
Yeah, it's a bit strange.
It's just weird. I'd rather see your torso, like, or like, do you know what I mean? Like,
So basically
I'd rather see
you want to see
wallet.
rig shots.
I don't even want to, but
But
like,
even that though, if a guy sends you
fine,
if a guy sends you a photo in a
fine.
mirror like this tense and you're just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
And
guys.
and I know you've done that.
No, but
Probably.
it's hard because we don't tell you that. Oh no, that's not fair. It's weird. Why are you doing that?
No, I don't think I've ever sent I've never
Is it
sent just a torso shot.
unnatural? But then I think on the other hand, like, is a girl on all fours in front of the mirrors, like, because I know a guy would say, "But oh, send me a picture," like, all right. And I'm like, well, in what world is that attractive?
Only when you want to have a wank. Like,
Yeah, if you're laid in bed and you're
I'm
dead.
Yeah, and
di-
I think girls are a bit different. Like,
I'm disgusted with myself after I've watched porn. Like I feel dirty,
oh
I feel
yeah,
grotesque. I'm like,
I would be too if I were you.
Why?
Disgusting. I just
Do you not
think-
watch? Do you not watch porn?
No,
What?
I'm
No,
so
no.
glad we're on this topic.
You just said earlier that you're not a liar.
No, I'm not lying. I don't tell lies. I
You
can't be
never
arsed.
watch porn ever.
I can't say never ever, but not in the time I have watched porn, it wasn't in a sexual situation. It was like let's watch porn with the girls, because
With the
why
girls?
is everyone watching porn?
you know what's
and
funny?
I didn't really get it. And 5 seconds I was like, get it off, because I feel weird.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
It's not nice. It's not even nice. If that's how you guys are having sex, then
Depends.
No, the first
what mood I'm in,
The
really.
first time I ever watched porn, like with my mates like that when we were real young, we found an old tape and it was Max Hardcore, and I was like disgusted because I was like spitting on them and stuff and weeing on them. That was my first introduction to porn.
Yeah.
On
And has that not
VHS.
affected you in any way? Do you
Probably,
not carry that on?
probably.
Yeah.
Probably a bit of a sicko inside now.
I just don't know. It's like forced as well. It's like no one wants to be having that sex. They're being paid. It's weird. It's like,
Do you think porn then, if we dig into this for younger people, if they're like, there's a thing doing the rounds at the minute, like not to watch porn, it seems to be healthy for lads to not. Is it no
I
fap it's
definitely
called?
don't think it's healthy to watch.
And I bet it
porn.
gives a bad representation of what actual sexual
I was going to say,
relationships are
especially
like.
like to young boys, even maybe to girls. You know, I can imagine them watching that and being like, "Oh, is this what you've got to do?" Getting all the wrong answers, getting all the wrong ideas, pressure as well from them. You know, I've got to look like this, I've got to be like this. You know, like as a I don't think it's a real It's like the Instagram thing, like when with the influencers, it's like that's not real life. That's not what happens. Everyone's not always happy, smiling. We don't always look great. There's real life under the sun. I don't think it's ever healthy to be like, this is what this is, and this is the only thing, because it's not like. And I think also as well, like, sorry to be a fart, but like sex is a like a nice romantic intimate thing as far as I'm concerned. Like, I wouldn't have sex with someone I know guys might be different, and I'm sure there's other girls that are different, but I'm not having sex with someone to be like, oh yeah, I've had sex, that's a release, like to get a release. It's more like I'm in love with this person, or I like you, you know, there's a deeper connection, and that's not the sex I saw when I watched.
Yeah, just brutality.
Yeah, that's not it. It's just like, and as well, it's like you said, it's not healthy, I don't think, to teach the young generation, because that is probably who's watching it, you know, that's what we should be doing.
To switch it up a bit there,
Yeah, I was just thinking my mum's going to be watching
you
this, she'll be
mentioned,
disgusted.
no, I just want to dive
and also,
into...
sorry, porn as well. I don't think porn's a good thing in its own right, because I think porn is an intimate sex is an intimate thing,
Yeah.
and I don't think people should be showing people how you have sex. And so I think the whole thing of it, whether it's done realistically or not, is just like, I wouldn't show anyone me having a poo, because it's not for you. It's not. Some things are just.
And you're not Elle Brooke.
Oh, another dig.
No, I'm just saying Elle Brooke.
I wasn't digging.
No, Elle Brooke did that, didn't she?
Did she?
I don't know, you told us. I'm joking, Josh told us.
Pooping stories.
Josh is upset.
No.
No, but you know, things like that, and it's like we say with OnlyFans as well, it's like you can do whatever you want to do. You can, you know, who am I to judge what everyone's doing? But it's like you said, you can have pictures of yourself in a swimsuit, or you can be having a dump. You know, they're two different things. Like,
Each to their own.
I always joke to you, and I don't want to bash OnlyFans too much because I respect any platform
No,
where people can
I'm
make
not
money.
bashing, yeah.
But I do feel some of the subscribers are probably
On the spectrum.
let me say this correctly so I'm not getting in trouble.
There's no chance you can't say anything without getting in trouble
Like,
these days.
Mentally challenged.
Yeah.
If you're into those vices, which
it's like
if you've got a kink,
enabling.
you've got a kink. It is what it is. Like, I think I'm quite vanilla with out like that, so I'm not like, I wouldn't be gravitated to wanting to watch weird stuff online or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But some people must have these kinks. Therefore, there's a business opportunity for people to sort of rinse these people
Yeah,
or
and
get
I
into the
don't.
ribs.
I just think it's really unhealthy and really just. I know, like, we live in the real world, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but it's just not proactive, and it's like people are making decisions about what we're pushing out into to the media, to the universe, to our children, everything. People are making these decisions, and for me, I can't fathom why. They're like, what we really need to do is get everyone hooked on porn.
Yeah.
Doing this, going out drinking in clubs, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was driving, I do think like weird things, but I was driving through my town the other day, and it was like just signs everywhere, and it's all like fast food, and it was like, it's frappe season, and I'm like, it's not frappe season, it's let's have an emotional breakdown season, it's like cost of living season. It's
Yeah.
like, why is, I don't know, it's like really boring, and probably people don't want to hear it, but why aren't we having, imagine if the money that we had for the country was spent on signs that are like, are you okay? And I know like that might not help,
Speak
but you
to
know,
your friends.
yeah, or just like follow your dreams. I know it's really pansy and arsey, but like whatever it is, keep pushing. Like, why don't we have all, like, instead of advertisements for a frappuccino, why don't we have, here's what you can do if you want to better yourself in this thing. Same with school. What we do.
They don't want people to rise up there. That's probably going down a different rabbit hole.
And that's exactly it. So then I'm like, everyone just switch on.
Yeah.
And that's the reason, like, I get worried, and I'm like, oh, we shouldn't have porn, and we shouldn't have OnlyFans, and you know, we shouldn't have, because you could say shouldn't have alcohol, you shouldn't have anything. It's not that we shouldn't have these things. It's, let's make sure that everyone is educated and doing whatever they're doing for good reasons, and they have healthy minds and brain on their shoulders, because it's like, someone can drink alcohol and not be an alcoholic. Someone can, you know, listen to drill or whatever and not go out and shoot someone. But if someone is already inclined to do them things anyway, and you start shoving it down them throats, because I don't think people make you do things, but some of us, or some people, have that in their mind already.
Yeah.
Some people are gonna, you know, like school shootings and stuff like that. If you then start pushing down them every day, and it's in everywhere, stuff like that, and let's not love each other, let's not be kind, let's not do these things, it's gonna push it even more, and that's why we're
Do you know those
in
school
the
shooters
shit
are
that we are.
usually virgins?
But this is what I'm saying, and as well with OnlyFans and porn, it's not safe. Like, I know it's really mean, and I like, maybe these guys are happy, but these guys, and not all of them, so like, it's just a small fraction of people, that the guys that are on OnlyFans, that are old guys, have not had sex before, don't have any interaction with females. How on earth are we helping them by going, it's right, because you don't have to go outside in the real world and interact with females. It's fine. Just sit in your room and talk to them behind a screen, because that's really going to make you fulfilled. And you're going to get a marriage out of that, and you're going to have kids. No, they're going to get to 50, never have had a girlfriend, be depressed, be suicidal, probably go out and sexually assault someone. I'm sorry, but...
Yeah.
That's what happens, because people who are having sex all day and are happy with themselves and are confident enough to speak to people, they're not doing things like that.
Yeah.
They're not, you know, like taking their own lives. They're not doing things like that.
No,
so
I agree with that.
it's just not for me. It's just certain people, you can't push certain material down. And I think we know that, the world knows that. Everyone that's controlling sort of like what gets put in front of people.
An
knows
interesting
that.
point from that then that I'll ask there. And I'll ask you as well. Do you ever feel? I don't know if you've seen in the news. We did a solo cast on Saturday and we mentioned AI being regulated. Do you feel that these platforms like OnlyFans, if let's just fast forward 5 years, if a lot of this stuff comes to the rise, mental health through people or shootings or whatever you mentioned in there, if that gets more severe and more worse, which it probably will, if people are just living lives like that and not having communication with people in real life, do you feel it'll ever be regulated or potentially banned?
No, because I don't want to sound like one of them like kooks, but the people that are in charge of running the country do not care. And like you said, that's what they want. They don't want an empowered nation that are going to go and earn their own money, don't need benefits, don't need antidepressants, don't need the big to go into the doctors and because that's where all the money is and it's good for them, and they need people to do all this stuff. And I know it sounds like really dreary and miserable, but that is factually what's happening. That's what's happening. Happiness and peace and roses doesn't make the world go round, and it's not. Like you said, like people are running businesses. It's all a business, and they want to earn the most money, be the most controlled. And if they start giving people their own minds and saying, "Oh, actually, you can do this instead," "Oh, you can't do this," because it's things like benefits and things like. Giving people benefits and free money, it doesn't help anyone.
There's no incentive, is there?
Yeah, and all of that money that they're spending, you can 1,000,000% put that into training and or starting people a company and doing other things. Like it's mind blowing for anyone to sit and think that I'm the crazy one and we're the crazy ones that think that the government and people are doing this, when you're crazy to think that they've got all that money and you think all the intelligence that they have, they thought, what can we do? Oh, just give them free money everywhere. It's the only thing that's going to help them. It's absolute rubbish. Like there's so many ways that everything. So I don't think it's going to change down the line. I just think we're just going to have a more like depressed, not being able to do anything, non-believing in ourselves, like nation of people.
The point there that has just brought up in my head is we look, obviously, the goal is to grow this YouTube channel and a lot of the things that we're into, which is setting goals, looking after yourself, building businesses, personal development, reading, morning routines, the list goes on, doesn't it? It's just a shame that it's more degenerate content that seems to go viral. So you're always second guessing yourself.
And
like
who's in charge of like?
Because we could just if we wanted to, we could just take him as Andy Kidd. We could just take him all over the country and just spar people and fight people on the street, or just go party all the time. You could do that, but deep down, and I think you probably feel a bit like this. It's like we know that if you're on a positive path and you're on a worthy mission, you've set goals, you're looking after yourself, you're doing the right things, you'll build an audience, but it might just take a little bit longer because people aren't really receptive.
More rewarding, and you go to bed at night and think, I'm like really making a difference.
Amen,
I'm really like pushing, because like you asked, do I think that they're going to start regulating it? No, they're not going to do anything. So don't care. The only thing anyone can do is people like you be a positive platform, give people the information they need. Say, if you're feeling miserable, go to the gym. Because for me as well, it's like when the COVID and everything happened, going to the gym and being healthy and being positive and having a healthy, positive body and mind is just the most, like, the best tool you can have. Yeah. Like, it can defeat absolutely anything. So why in COVID we went, get outside, exercise your lungs, be healthy. No, stay inside.
But look there, who was pushing the message? Boris Johnson, overweight, fat.
Exactly. And
eating educated, probably just had money all his life.
Like, it's just stupid. So it's like, they're the things that need to be pushed. But I do think what is good, although we're at a really sad time where it's like things are getting worse because the things that are going on in the world is just wild. But there's a more of a like guys like you, like there's more of a, we do know what's going on actually, and we feel more. And I think the whole creator thing and like YouTube and stuff like that has pushed people to be able to be like, well, I can have my own platform. I'm not scared to do what I want. And it's money as well, because it's like, well, if whoever's controlling how you get paid and stuff like that, if that's your only option, then no one's going to be able to do that. They're going to have to just go down that road. But now I think people are realizing that, no, you can do it on your own. You don't need to, that's not the only route. You don't need to go and just get 9 to 5, not go to the gym, be miserable.
Where did you get this level of understanding from? Are you well read? Have you got mentors in your life? Where did you begin?
You listen to Tate's Views, do you?
Yeah, we're bezies as well. We go out every day for walks.
I'm not
the
buying
time.
this one now. So I bought the first one. I'm
Yeah,
not
we're
buying
not
that
falling
one.
for that one.
So where the question being, where did you get this understanding from? Have you got mentors, parents? Where are you gauging this perspective?
So my dad is, like I said, dad was very like loud, I don't say outspoken, but
Had views.
passionate as well. Because
Yeah.
I think like I'm always quite passionate, like if I'm speaking about stuff. But I think it probably stems from that. I was always taught, I don't know where my dad got it from, but it's really weird because I always look back, because my dad passed away a couple of years ago, but I always look back and think on him, like how, like this woke, and I hate the word woke, but you know how we are now, like people was cottoning on, like my dad knew that already when I was, because I was brought up with it. And for me, I'm like, well, he didn't have social media, he didn't have YouTube, like where was he getting it from? Like what, he was saying the stuff that everyone's saying now. And at first, I was like, oh, Dad, shut up. When I'm like 16, 17, 18, 19, I'm not really, no, probably younger than that. I'm not really responsive to, I'm not. Then as I'm getting older, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Now I get it. Now, and obviously when you're a kid, that's not your job to like figure out the way of the world, like, so whatnot. But I think it probably stems from that. And as well, it's like, I think just having a good sense of morale and just being aware, like, and just having someone, like I said, it could be my dad, it could be a podcast, it could be a friend, having someone to give you that information. Because if, like, say you're...
It's insight you're looking for there, isn't it? Just looking for some sort of insight, and then you can gauge your perspective in your head.
Yeah, and then you start looking around. I think just life experiences as well. It's like, I'm like in my 30s, but, I've done a lot. I've worked a lot, travelled a lot. You start to... And I think running the business as well, when I started doing that, you realise...
That's a life lesson itself, isn't it?
Yeah. And then my dad was quite religious as well. So I think when you have...
What Christianity, that?
Yeah, so my dad was Christian, my mum was Catholic. When I go back to the, as well, like two different worlds. Like, so yeah, that's always been a sort of like, I say he's very religious, but it was more of a like, it's not like I did have to go to church when I was little, up until I was like, I'm not going anymore, I don't want to. But it's more of just do good, be a nice person, wake up and be positive. And it's more of like, if you take religion away, like what are we here on the earth for? Like what are you doing? You're just going to coast around until you're dead and then die. Like,
what did we say on the last pod? And I edited it yesterday. It's like the ability to find meaning in things is so important.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's
missing in society at the minute though, because people they're just floating around.
Yeah.
Then you get lost in this like transgender movement, or you get lost in these wars, or you get lost in this.
And I think I defo, like we spoke about before, like I defo got lost when I first started modelling, influencing. I defo got lost in I'm just going to be an influencer. I can get everything for free. I'm a pretty girl. And when that's what everyone teaches you, because that's what they want everyone to, to be like, then you start being like, I remember at one point I was on a flight, I was doing a music video, they put me in first class, it was like, put my arm out like that, champagne comes, like, I developed like this really gross, like I'm more important than you, and like really, and then they'll take your bags and put them up because you're in first class and everyone else has to put their own bags away, and you're like, and I really was like that, like, I remember being on the fly and then being like, this is vile, like why am I doing this, like why am I being so disgusting, like saying things like, oh, if you got my, like, because they give you the hand towels and like the washing things in first class, and being like, can I have my thing? It's like, do you have one of them at home? No. So just like get back to reality, stop looking down on these people who are exactly the same as you.
Yeah, but I think as long as as long as you're civil to them though, surely you should be able to enjoy the experience.
That's it. But I was infringing on not being civil to people. It was sort of like,
me
can you move
immediately
out of my way because I am on exactly that shit, and who wants to see that?
Ellis would be doing this.
Yeah, fucking too right.
No, yeah, and then
I do that in economy.
Like, oh, I don't want to be like that. And I take you back to, so I used to like work, do you know Silverstone, like the grid girl, the racetrack? So I used to work there doing like on the burger vans, like literally as
the grid girls. Well,
No,
I used to work in the burger van.
Oh, I was a grid girl too. So I started out doing that. I was like 16. Got paid cash every day. It was great. Got my first car with it.
We'll bleep that out so you don't get.
Oh no, because I recorded all the cash and recorded straight
Yeah.
in my tax book.
Allegedly,
Anyway.
That's funny, like in that space. I've been involved with Ginetta and GT Foz in racing.
Cool,
I've travelled all country with racing.
Oh yeah, wicked. That's one as well. It's like all the money in that. Like so taking it back. So I'd done that, treated like absolute crap. We'd get to the things. We'd have to come in the vans because we couldn't bring our cars through. Not gonna think, want passports, want to see who are you, no respect, no one liked us. I'd be lugging like the barrels of water around, like no one's gonna help me, no one's gonna do anything. Come back as a grid girl 4 years
Different
later.
animal.
Oh my God, holding the. I never even used to have a ticket. I never even used to show ID. And it's like, I'm a grid girl. Stop bothering me. You can just do that, and they'll let you through. It's no drama.
What did you think when they banned grid girling in racing?
So yeah,
Formula One was
They
with it.
banned the Formula One we went to Monaco to do the F1, and they
Wow.
banned it literally the day before. So we had to go. Well, and obviously I wasn't complaining going to Monaco, but we went and
You must be rolling in some good circles when you go to those sort of events because there's some
The
rich
Monaco thing was like
people there.
because everyone says, "Oh, Monaco is like rich man's land," and you're like, "Oh, everyone's," but no, Monaco is a different type
Yeah.
of like. It's good if it's fun if you've got money. If you're not the one with the money, I can't imagine it's a fun time.
Yeah.
But we were like we was doing beauty pageants as well, so we were like Miss. I think I was Miss. Can't remember what country I was, but I was Miss whatever. So they were all like really like, "Oh my God, the girls, can we have pictures?" So we were cool, but I
Yeah.
can imagine if I just went there as a normal bod, that wasn't.
I used to find that so we used to get in the paddock, obviously, with the race team, but the dynamic of people involved with racing was so much different to what I've ever been used to.
Yeah.
Generational wealth. They've all got
100%.
The kids are born into money. They know no different.
Yeah,
I'm a
1,000,000%.
working.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
born working class. So
Same,
to
yeah.
me, to be put in front of these people, it
Yeah,
were eye opener.
well-
But they used to like me just because I was just me and talk and
And
open.
do you know
and
the thing as well with like the F1 and everything fans? So you know Anne Widdicombe. Is it Anne Widdicombe?
the MP,
No.
I've heard of the name, but I'm
That's not even her.
innit?
No, I've said the wrong name.
You're on
What
about-
is that woman's name from like The Weakest Link?
Oh,
Anne Robinson.
Anne Robinson. Anne Wickham's the chubby MP.
Oh yeah,
Can't
with the
say far.
chin. Yeah. She, because I don't like politicians, I wouldn't say that normally. But she came to do like a documentary on like, you know how they're like, "Oh, are you being forced into this thing? Oh, do you hate? Is it demoralising?" and stuff like that. So we had her there doing that, and I was just like, the fans, like you said, the guys at the racing and the people at the racing, it's families, it's older people. It's like no one, because she was like, "And how do you feel when you're ogled at?" I was like, "I don't get ogled at," and she couldn't believe it. And I was like, "But we don't." And men are entitled to look at women and find they're attractive. That's fine, but they're definitely not asking for our numbers. And even so, as long as
Not
you
even
do
racers,
something, you know-
aren't. I saw a different
no,
side
the
to this.
races are different. I'm talking about the fans.
All right,
the
okay.
races are different. Yeah, I could
saw a
tell you a
different
few,
side. Yeah,
few
yeah.
stories about the grid girls in the races.
I know a few boys there. Who I
Yeah,
can, I
yeah.
ain't
They're
putting a bus.
notorious for it. No
Yeah, yeah.
offense, guys.
Slingers.
Don't want to be nasty, but
Proper slingers.
yeah, it's weird. I'd say even more so than like boxing
Yeah.
lads, because they want to just train and stuff like that. They haven't really got time to like mess about and be whores.
No,
but-
race car drivers are a different breed.
yeah, really. But I think like maybe it comes to like sort of upbringing and
Maybe.
having
Just access to all of them. I think they've got money,
yeah,
haven't
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, it was a totally different thing when I came back for
they?
that.
What did I say? Anne Widdicombe. I can't remember saying her name.
Anne
Yeah,
Widdicombe.
yeah.
She's
Going-
like, she'd be there like, "I was never there." She's lying as if she's watching.
Going back to ring girling, I don't know if this is just from when I was younger, from when I did MMA, but I don't know why it was. Whenever I used to fight, I was single at the time. The ring girl was always the main target. Like after the fight, if there were fit girls in the crowd, if you go to the after party, like
Yeah,
you'd
I
spot,
bet,
you'd spot
yeah.
the best ring girl, and you'd be like,
Yeah, because I think it's that thing like, "Oh, I can bag the ring girl."
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
is that still a thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I think guys, but there's this whole thing is like, "Oh my God, you're a ring girl," like, and I'm just like, yeah, but like, I never realised like, how great and amazing like the guys think we are, like, and it's, you know, it's maybe not all guys or whatever, but yeah, there's definitely like. They're just
A
like
target
in
on your head a
awe.
bit.
Yeah, and it's just weird. I'm like, we're literally the same as all the other girls, but we're in shorts
clothes.
and a crop top. Yeah, and we're in the ring. Like, I think they think it's like some celeb status as
Yeah.
well thing. Like, I suppose you can go and tell your mates. I would like, what's the girl thing? I suppose it'd be like, "Oh, I've slept with a fighter," or.
Yeah, it'd be similar.
But to be fair, no, I don't really think.
Well,
Well,
someone who's on a highest.
Let's say if
Yeah,
you walk
maybe
to your
like, "Oh,
girlfriend's
bangs
and was like, "Oh
Mayweather."
yeah, Shag Mayweather," the bloke,
Yeah. I don't think
did
like
you?
that. No.
allegedly.
Okay.
I've been to some shit events though, that are like £15 a ticket events, and the ring girls there have.
Oh yeah.
tragic.
They're not highly recruited.
And this is the thing as well, when I started the agency, 'cause people were like, "Oh, why did you start it?" It was like, number one, there wasn't another agency that was doing it that I thought that was great. Because it was like, even the ones I was working for, I was like, "Don't even want to work for you because you're not good. And I'm doing all your work." It was like, I was getting the outfits. I turned out to shop, there would be no uniforms. And he'd be like, "Just run to Newlook and grab something."
Let's put a boob tube on or something.
And it's like, yeah, and it's just like, "Are you normal? Is this the way that people run their businesses?" And I'd be apologising to the client, and I'd be like, "I've had a word with the client, you know, I've said it's," and he'd be like, "Who cares? Like, have you been paid? Like, just really don't care."
Yeah.
Like, So yeah, there is a, but I think it's just down to people just not in areas. I'm sure there's like car showrooms. People either care about their business or they don't.
Agreed.
How
long have we been talking for?
We've done about an hour and 10. Do you want to? Because it's like 40 degrees in here.
I do.
I do have one more question. Just to wrap it up. Are you too fatigued?
No, not at all.
Just
I bored you that much.
no, just.
It's like, I can't take another second.
Obviously, we joke about a fair bit. We've talked about a fair range of subjects. Are you a spiritual person?
That's a good question. No, not a good question, but I like the way you worded that because people are like, "Are you religious?" And obviously, my dad's very religious. My mum actually is Catholic, so she went to St Mary Magdalene. She was like raised in a nunnery by nuns. So I think people would assume that I'm this really like pray 10 times a day and rah. My thing is like I'm a spiritual person, so I believe that what you put into the universe, you get back.
Yeah.
For me, like I don't really care if someone believes in religion or they don't believe in religion. I'm not really that bothered, but. Because I think some people are also quite scared of religion, but so then I'll be like, okay, well, are you a spiritual person? Like you just said, like, have you got a faith? Like, do you believe in good things will happen? You know, if you're a good person, because I think if someone's got no moral compass, it's sort of like a red flag, like for anything. Like if you really think that you can go around stealing or doing this, doing that, doing not nice things, and you're just going to get away with it for the rest of your life. What a ringtone that was!
I'm itching. Bad ringtone that one.
That was
totally
what
interrupted
was
you. I
that?
apologise. Totally apologise.
Someone who needs to rinse on OnlyFans of it.
Yes, I can't remember what I was saying.
I'm
now.
so sorry about
See,
that.
we're just speaking about spirituality and a fucking shit ringtone goes on.
So yeah, definitely. I'm too much as well, to be fair. Like, I'm like a quiet. So my dog was, I don't even want to talk about it, but my dog was limping the other week and someone went, "Oh, he is getting old." And I was like, "Don't say that."
Yeah.
We don't say he's getting old. We say he's a really healthy, happy dog and he's going to live forever. That's what we say. I'm really quite like, you can talk things into existence and don't just, because I think like we just speak about manifesting and I think people are like, "Oh, it's silly, it's not magic," but it's just so basic and straightforward. Like if you think about something 24/7, you're going to naturally gravitate towards that thing. If you're positive, you're naturally going to do positive things are going to come your way. If I wake up miserable, I'm going to fail today, that's what's going to happen.
Do you have any physical practices that help with that? Do you do journaling, cold, obviously you train
No, I think if I did do things like that though, I think I would, because you know, although I think I've got like my life sussed out, I really haven't. There's a lot more like developing and like learning I've got to do, and I do think things, I'm definitely missing something. I think like there's one thing at the minute that like it will all tie it in together.
Do you find, so I feel that because I'm quite obsessive with what I'm doing, whether it's business, I channel all of it into that, and then this sort of gets forgotten about. I've got to try and find that. There's probably 3 or 4 buckets in my life that I need to make sure are all been maintained.
Yeah, 100%. And for me, training is a big thing. Like even if I wasn't training for a fight, I have to be in the gym. Like I can't. Like I just feel like my mind doesn't feel good. Like my body doesn't feel good. I don't feel good about myself. I don't feel like I've worked hard. I don't feel like I sort of like deserve like things at the end of the day if I haven't got up and worked. I think that's like with anything. If you just sat around like a slob.
You feel like you've got to earn it.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, like I just think it's positive to be in the gym, and I think everyone should be in the gym and everyone should be training. And I think what you put into your body as well. Like I used to drink. I say I used to, going back to like Christmas, but coffee was a big problem for me.
I can't not coffee. I'll never not coffee.
10 cups a day.
Oh, not 10 though.
And also, it's like I believe everything in
moderation.
Yeah, but then when it starts to becoming a problem, so for instance, I can't sleep. So I had this thing. And I was in a relationship and it'd be like nighttime, and even now, but I just manage it better. But I need a hot drink before bed. But you know when it's just like, no, I'm acting like a crack addict for the hot drink, and then I'm like, that's the unhealthy thing. I want to be able to go to bed without a hot drink, like. And then like my chest would hurt where I was literally having so much coffees, my hands would go. I used to do pre-workout as well. So I'm like in the morning, pre-workout, nighttime coffee, woo, like just all day.
You're just testing it out a bit.
Yeah, and then I don't sleep. So then I was like going
You
to bed.
need a coffee the next day to wake you up.
Yeah, and it was
Vicious
just
cycle,
like,
that.
yeah, exactly. And then I'd notice as well, I was drinking coffee because maybe I was like hungry and I didn't want to like snack on crap. So it was just
I do that.
like,
I fast with coffee, a big chunk of it. I'm not eating yet, me.
But then I'm like, you can have, so I've had a protein shake today. Hungry. But I think just like I don't, because I'd never think it's like, don't do this, don't drink, don't do this, don't do anything. Because I've been through stages where I'm like, I'm going to cut out everything, I'm going to do this and run. I've done the opposite. Like I've been vegetarian, I've been vegan. Like I think everything is just like, just do everything in moderation and just like, you can go out and have a drink, like, and as well, like cocktails. I'd have a cocktail every day, probably 2 or 3 at lunch, laptop out, every single day, and I'm not drunk. And everyone would be like, "Oh, you drink so much," and I'm like, "I don't actually drink. I don't get drunk. I'm never drunk." But then I'm like, "Oh yeah, I actually just drink every day," because I'd be like, "I've worked so hard. I deserve this cocktail." And it's like, you don't need to. It's just.
I think
a
I'm like
habit,
that with Bifter a bit.
What's bifter?
Smoking.
Oh, what's bifter? Ganj.
I think I could stop it. I just don't want to yet.
Yeah, but I think things like
That's
that.
what
'cause-
that's what every stoner
That's what an
says,
addict
bro.
says, yeah.
But I fought with myself a lot, like things that I do, and I'm like, maybe I need to do that. And it's like sometimes, no, if you enjoy something and it's not messing up your whole life, like if you're smoking and not getting out of bed every day and like having to leave social groups because you're like, I need to go and have some weed now. Yeah, that's weird, and just no one, you know. That
I'm fairly functional now, I'd say.
Yeah.
I can
but
still work.
I think that's the thing, because it's like everyone can have a drink, but if it's like, I can't go to the pub with you guys because what if I get absolutely wrecked and beat someone up? Like that's not a normal thing to do. Like so.
Well, I think drinking around here leads to sniffing a bag as well. That seems to go hand in hand now. So people
See,
just
that's one thing. I'm like, if you could be like, what's my biggest ick? Like, I just
sniffing bags.
makes me feel a bit
People who
sick.
can't sniff.
Yeah, people who are not
It is,
absolutely cokes up all the time.
It's become so mainstream though. So when I was younger and people were doing that, it would be you'd keep it hidden. People just now it's just a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, 1,000,000%. When I talk about like, none of my clients will be watching this, but like the event staffing and the high-end client type, because you'd think it'd be like,
Just
obviously
scooping
it's
it
at the
up.
boxing and you know you get them guys, but the real issue is these millionaire guys, like and they, it's wild. Like you'll be in the most like professional situation, and then you're like, what is going? Obviously, I'm not gonna.
You don't have to name names of what you're seeing there, or just snorting cocaine.
Maybe I might see it, maybe I might hear talk about it, maybe people might be offered it, but very blasé. And it's that whole politician thing where you can't touch me. I'm so high up, I do whatever I want, and I think that's where it's dangerous. And like I said, everything in moderation. Like, but I think once it's like absolute power corrupts. Absolutely, like we shouldn't.
There's a limit to that. isn't there?
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Give we'll wrap it up, but give a selfish shout out how people find out more about you, what you're doing, where can people.
So follow the Ring Girls. So we have Finesse Ring Girls, Instagram. I'm Carla Jade. But like I said, we're going to start a pod soon. We've got lots of fun YouTube bits going on. So follow the YouTube, Finesse Ring Girls. But yeah.
We're going to be there in
2 weeks tomorrow.
in Newcastle,
Yeah,
July 1st.
I can't wait.
We'll bring the
for
vlogging camera, so we'll
BKFC.
get you involved a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it. You can be in mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Expect a little
Who
special
are you
wave
looking
when you see
forward
us. Like.
to? I will blow you a little kiss. It's so funny because the American girls are obviously like, well, you know, they do it the best. And when you know David Filderman,
Yeah.
so he came over for the first show and he was like, hey Carla, like if you know, feel free to like, you know, blow a kiss and like do a little shimmy.
Ah, little
I was
shit.
like, girls, am I not good enough? Like, why has he said that? And then I was like, oh no, I think that they just do it.
Maybe
but-
he's just trying to just.
No, yeah,
egg
he
you.
was just,
Yeah.
and me, like I said, I'm really insecure, really like worried.
You
right?
took that critically.
If anyone says anything to me, honestly, people actually say to me, like, are you still thinking about that? Shut up.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
shut up. It's been 3 days. Why are you still talking about
That's him a bit, I
that
think.
woman who's
Fuck
like
right,
just done
man.
some random thing and it's not even important? And I really will just let it overcome. Like now, as I said, like, I've done a lot of growing. I try and like
Yeah.
identify when that's happening, but it's more of it's like having positive people around them, because I can go to the girls like, and just anything. If you say, oh, here's a bit of feedback, I'm like, he hates me. Like, I might as well give it all up now.
I'm like that. It's quite an extreme way of thinking that. Isn't
But
it?
then if you didn't give me feedback, I'd be like, oh, I need the feedback. How unhelpful. Because it's like when I'm boxing, I'm quite a like, tell me what I'm doing wrong all the time as I'm doing it. Like,
yeah, live feed.
I need, even like sparring, I'll do the first round and then I go over to my coach and I'm like, and he's like, what? And I'm like, what do I do? What do you give feedback? And he's like, just do the round. You've got a minute, breathe. Like, just you don't, what lesson are we doing now here? But I think it's like, I have a fear of failure, like really bad.
You
Like,
just need that reassurance.
yeah, and like I get so upset. Say if I'd done a day without doing anything, or say if I was on the way to the gym and my car broke down or something, whatever, it's like, if something doesn't go in my way or the plans that I've
Yeah,
set out,
I'm
like,
similar
I
to
get
that.
really upset, and to the point where then I'd sabotage my entire day.
Yeah.
So then it was sort of like realizing like sometimes things aren't meant to be, and
Mm.
it's like there's this story I love listening to it, but I think it's like the Chinese farmer, and it's like, I don't know if you heard it, but Chinese farmer, he has a son, and I can't remember how it starts, but gets to a point where he's out playing on a horse, and he falls off and breaks his leg, and he comes into the house, and all the neighbours are like, "Oh, that's such bad
I've
news."
heard,
Yeah.
Where have I heard this recently?
On a pod, it's been going around because
Yeah.
I read the actual book because there's a book.
Does it
as
say
well.
maybe? What's his answer to it?
Yeah, and it's like maybe good news, maybe bad news.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't know. So then he falls off the horse, breaks his leg. The army come the next day to recruit him, and he's like, "Oh, we're only taking able-bodied people." Oh, brilliant. Then the next day something else happens, and it's like, so it could be. I'm very like, well, you know, like what's that film where the stuff falls off the Final Destination. Yeah. You know, when I'm like, oh, if I wasn't in that lane at that time already, you know, like if I miss a turn in and my sat nav has 20 minutes.
crashed on that one.
Yeah, I'm really like, oh, well, like, but then I'll
happened
take
for a
it too
reason.
far. Yeah. And then I'm like, now I'm living in this like weird warmth. So it's just like trying to like balance it and be like, it's because then it's sort of like taking it to the extreme, like getting annoyed with people because they've said my dog is getting old. Well, he is getting old. Let's be realistic as well. Don't walk around being like, nothing bad will ever happen, because like we still need caution. And like,
Absolutely.
it's like, oh, I'm not going to feed my dog because, you know, the universe will look after me. Like, he'll die.
When are you
Agreed.
launching the podcast? Well, last question.
ASAP. So I had, we had like a space where we were doing it. And then, so it was at my mum's house, selling the house, and I'm doing bits of that. So I've just moved it, and then I moved at Christmas, so I just relocated it. So I'm literally just doing the like last finishing bits in it, and then like to have like the BKFC guys on, fighters, all sorts of, as you can tell, I love a waffle.
Yours will be like 15 hours long.
Yeah,
You can talk. You can talk.
Even though
These are easy podcasts for me when it's like. 'cause
See,
some
instantly
people,
in my mind now, I'm like, he
Oh,
hates me.
yeah.
I
No, look what
swear,
you've done
I'm
to the
messed
girl,
up.
Josh.
because
I'm not well.
because podcast should be long form, and you can hold long form
and
conversation.
now I'm like, now he's just being nice to me.
Yeah,
'cause
just to
he
cover
knows,
his
because I
tracks.
said before.
Honestly.
and
No,
now-
I'm just
Carla.
tell the.
He's an horrible guy.
Nah,
are,
I just
yeah.
tell the truth, mate. I just think you'd be a good host.
Oh, thank you very
Podcast
much.
should be 3-4 hours long, but we just can't handle the heat.
Yeah,
And it's fucking too much.
Honestly,
Yeah, it's long,
it's
We'll call
quite-
it a day. We're happy.
I'm happy.
Right, good work.
Thank you very much, Carla.
Thanks for having me.
Ain't early. Took too hard, don't stay too close. You gon' fuck around down. Going on shows, I don't know.